Okay, something that's come up quite a lot for people is wanting to put a fireplace with more depth in the room, or wanting to put a bookcase with more depth or more width and depth. They're a freestanding bookcase. So I thought I'd show you how you can extend your back wall and end up with something wider. The best way to go about it would be to put a piece of paper, just like we did with our ceiling, put a piece of paper here right where the back wall turns into our left wall. Tape your paper there. So the first thing you need to do is to mark off how many feet you want. So anywhere on the grid you can make marks for what equals 1 foot in width. So say I want to extend this 4 feet over. I would take the ceiling line, the one that we started with on our grid, and just pierce the picture plane like that. And likewise at the floor line, you would just pierce the picture plane again and bring it across. It wouldn't be worth doing if you didn't do it at least 3 feet, but you may want 4. So there's 1, 2, 3. And I'll try to keep this straight. This should all be very straight, of course, even if I go a little awry here. And now we've got a little bit more width to our room. Now, as I was saying, that grid no longer applies over here, but what you can do is just extend the floor grid over. And then bring these down. So now I have 3 more feet. Now this ceiling, though, it's going to run flat like that. And it's kind of helpful because now I can bring over these lines. Not that we need the ceiling that much. We don't use it that much. Better to rely on just the one. And since we're doing this by eye, it'll be more accurate if you don't try to bring the ceiling across and down to the floor. I don't think that will work very well. So you can bring these up, and that way, should you need it, you will have, someone is going to put a bank of windows that are all little squares up on the other wall behind their fireplace. So they would need to have this grid in place to help them map all those squares out. So that would be your added space. And this would proceed to go this way, though. And anything that is on the ceiling would be going this way at this point. But all of this would be going this way. And as I mentioned, if you really needed it, you could bring these across. Now, anything you put in there would be done the same way as anything you put out here. So if you wanted to have a freestanding bookcase, you could bring that out. And if I knew that my freestanding bookcase was 2 feet deep, I've now got 2 feet that I can rely on back here. And if I know it's 3 feet wide, I've got the 3 feet I can rely on. Here's my corner. And my wall measurements, I can rely on those if I bring them over. So I'd have to bring those over too. And say I want it to be at 6.5 feet. That's 6.5 feet. And that came from the original grid, just bringing it over. So as you can see, you have to really think about where you are on the grid. That the grid doesn't work if you're changing the walls, you've got to change everything. So relative to my room, I have now a box here that's 7 feet tall, 2 feet wide, and 3 feet deep, 3 feet across. And there's my other corner. So this would be this part facing this way. So that opens up lots of possibilities for everyone, hopefully. I'll just do this side to show you that this side is facing us, just like the fireplace. It's this side that's facing us, and this part is facing away. Okay, so that's an option. A good place to start would be with a piece of tracing paper, just to figure out some of the things you might want to do to it before you begin to place your furniture in here. So as you know, the shape of our back wall is like this, but you also have the option, if you don't think this is enough room for your fireplace, because it's just a little half a foot of facade. So what you can actually do is extend the original wall, the back wall. You can extend it. In fact, you could extend it on either side if you want to. You could do it on both sides. Now what would happen would be that you would use your vanishing point like this, and then part of your ceiling would be going across like this, and the rest of it would be angled up like the gable, like we have here, those two lines. And in that space you can put whatever you like and have that flat ceiling. Here you might put some pot lights so that it kind of washes the wall in light. But it does change your floor. It makes it wider, and you've got lots of room down here to build whatever you want for your fireplace. So we can do a little moving. Don't do a lot. Don't, for example, don't change the placement of the sofa. It should stay where it is, and the light should stay where it is, and the coffee table, it can stay where it is, but things on the walls and the back window, you can play around with them. So I'm going to start down here about a foot into my window, and I'm going to go up about this far, and this is where my arc is going to be. So you just need to know where the middle is, and you just make half of the circle diagram, the diagram for the sphere. You just make half, and you divide that into 3, and you just make your arc. Remember though, it's a facing wall, so you have to bring this out to show that this part is facing us. It's our front frame for the window. But because it's eye level, you'll also see an underside. So you have to put a side here, because we're going to see. And then you bring up an underside. And you can estimate these. You don't have to go in and draw another box. You could just estimate what that would be. So that's easy to do. And your mullions, you just base your mullions on what the grid is giving you. You could absolutely do that. That would be easy to do. And then put in some more if you want them. Divide it up as you like. And you would do that in pencil first, and then any draperies you put over top, you would have this underneath. Or you could even put some of the window on this side, because this happens in libraries, I know, and part of the window on this side, and move your bookcase over here so that you have window in the corner instead of behind. If that is in your picture, you can do that. So that's something to think about, what you'd like to do with your window at the back. We also need something over the fireplace. So however your fireplace is built, whatever its shape it takes, we need to put something over top as well. A picture is pretty traditional, and if you're not in a traditional room, if you have different choices, then there might be some unusual piece of artwork that you found when you were working on your accessories, putting in your displays and accessories. So you may have some modern art, or it may extend all the way to the ceiling, or it may be built into the wall rather than just sitting on top of the wall. It might be built in and have lights above it. There are lots of installations now that look quite interesting for modern art. If you leave the bookcase where it is, you may end up wanting to make it wider for balance, because it's just not balanced anymore with the other wall. Or you can also put something on here. You might have another piece of artwork, or a mirror, or something that you could think of, or a wall hanging, something that you can put over here as well. And all of these things add to the atmosphere of the whole room that you're trying to create.